Where do you think, when we think of like how do you bridge the gap between strategy and execution, what do you think helps bridge that gap, and where do you think it can fall apart?
I think from the bridging the gap, I think it's all about connecting and connecting transparently. Because in some cases, I'll just maybe double click into each one of them. Connecting is, I think, fairly obvious. The strategy and the pathway to success, the execution, I think needs to be there. And I think the second part of is transparency, which is really about taking everyone along in the journey. Right? Showing up one day with a beautiful deck, great. Showing up one day with a very well defined and detailed plan that is a surprise to everyone, I think is not a good win. Because getting the engagement, getting the ownership accountability, as I hinted at earlier, is really I think a better, I'm not saying that's necessarily the right, but a better way to do it. Again, in some cases maybe it's not possible, and definitely that works. And to your other prompt about the gaps and failure mode, I think this is the failure mode. Maybe sitting in a room and just kind of cooking up a strategy or an execution plan with no connects to customers, with no connects to partners and ecosystem and internal execution. I think that's just the failure mode, and it happens way more than we think it does. So yeah, I think it's really about the balance, about transparency. It's really about connecting the dots, and doing it in the right way or doing it in a better way. Yeah, and then if there are gaps, it's a hard one. It's a hard one to complete
Yeah.
if there's gaps in there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think there are so many companies that fail, and maybe execution is a piece of it, but there are, I'm sure, other aspects as well that uh, lead to, say, failure of a strategy having the results, intended results. So I think you're spot on in terms of like some of the things you point out, everything from like having some systems to even like the transparency bit and the people